everyone, Charlotte here from Enriching Environments for Top Tip Tuesday on Instagram Live. We are Tuesday the 1st of March and I can't believe it's March already. And here on Top Tip Tuesday this evening we are going to be talking about toilet learning, the Montessori way. What it is. Hi there, hi everyone who's joining. We're going to be talking about toilet learning, the Montessori way, and we're going to be talking about how we can support our child. We can talk about the importance of this developmental stage, and it is just a developmental stage, nothing more, nothing less, and busting a few myths as well. Hi Jad, we're going to be busting a few myths. Hi Sarah, about toilet learning as well. This is Wiggly, my cat. You can see her gorgeous tail. So let's dive right in and let's open the conversation with what we call it. The name that we call it is toilet learning rather than toilet training or potty training, because we train dogs. We don't, hi everyone who's joining, hi Asil, hi Sama. We train dogs, we don't train children. So we call it toilet learning. It is a learning process. And the first thing for us to know after that it's training is a really good way of describing it or thinking of it is that it's a developmental stage like a child learning to crawl or to walk. Some children crawl at 6 months, some children crawl at, 9, 10 months. Some children walk at 11 months, some children walk at 18 months. Neither is right or wrong. They get there in their own time. And toilet learning is exactly the same. There is a sensitive period for it, which is between 12 and 18 months. That's when the child becomes more body aware. That's when they might start to feel discomfort if they eliminate in the nappy and then in a wet nappy. And so the sensitive period is then. That's when they become more attuned to their own body. However, what we are told in modern Western society is that children aren't ready, as it were, until much later. So there's a lot of conflicting messages from media, there's a lot of conflicting messages from the people like Huggies and Pampers who make nappies, make diapers. So it can be a really, really confusing journey, particularly with your first child. With Montessori, toilet learning is all about, like everything else, preparing the environment. So we give our child freedom of movement, for example, when they're learning to crawl and they're learning to walk, so that they can perfect these skills. We give them opportunities to walk, to move, to crawl, to jump, to hop, all of those things as much as possible. And for toilet learning, it's exactly the same. It's all about providing those opportunities so our child can succeed, can get there when they feel ready. So what else would I like to tell you? Toilet learning is a really interesting process because it's learning for the parent and it's learning for the child. So the child learns body awareness. The child learns what elimination is, what their body does. When they eat something, then it's eliminated. All of this things about their body and body awareness happens during toilet learning. They learn about the process and the systems of their body. And then the child also learns autonomy. So they learn that they have control over what their body does. They learn over a period of time that they can hold themselves, that they can hold maybe a couple of seconds initially, or they learn that they can hold their bladder, they can hold their bowels, for a couple of minutes, quite a long time as they get older. So it's all a learning process of autonomy, so control, and body awareness. That's what, hi everyone who's joining, sorry I'm not keeping up. And for the parent, the learning is patience and submission. And I said this to one of the parents of one of the children in my class this afternoon, actually. It's all about patience and submission for, hi Tanya, for adults, for the parent, and patience, because every child is on their own timeline, and this may come in a couple of days for some children, a couple of weeks for other, and a couple of months for other children. And submission. So submission means that we relinquish control. our work as a parent, as the adult in this situation, and me, for example, as an adult in a toddler environment, in a toddler community, it's very much submitting to where the child is in that moment. And it's the same for us as parents. And with my own 2 children, it was the same. Just relinquishing control, knowing that once we prepare the environment, like every other skill, like every other developmental stage, our child will get there. So in terms of submission in this stage, it's submitting to knowing that there will be misses. This is a really big part of this topic, actually. In the same way that we don't call it training, we call it learning, we also call them misses, not accidents, because an accident is a loaded word, whereas if we say a miss, it's literally factual. You missed the toilet, you missed the potty. That's what it was. It's just a miss. So we call it a miss. And moving into that topic, actually, of the language we're using around this is always very positive, always very, very encouraging. We don't need to praise and we don't need to offer rewards, but it's very light and easy. It's no drama. When a miss happens, we help our child go to the bathroom and they change out of their wet undies and they change into new ones. Like, it's no drama, it's no fuss, and part of our preparation is emotionally getting ourselves ready for that. Like, okay, I know that there's going to be misses. Whether we do a traditional potty training, like a strict, rigid thing, or we do this toilet learning, there are going to be misses. You know, my 7-year-old and almost 5-year-old have misses occasionally when they're playing, when they're laughing too much, when they tickle each other too much. You know, misses happen. And the main thing for us is just to be prepared for them. Emotionally prepared, knowing that's going to happen, and then physically prepared, you know, with changes of clothes and bags for wet clothes and all of those type of things. But the emotional preparation for us is involved, what's involved there is thinking, you know, how do we feel about elimination? Do we let our child come into the bathroom with us now? Have they seen us go to the toilet? Have they experienced that? Do they know the sequence of events? The parent I was speaking to today was saying that her son knows the sequence of events, so that after you go to the bathroom, you flush, you wash your hands, and he reminds her of that process. So that's great, and it's really interesting, because when we think of toilet learning, it covers so many skills. You know, this is the work of the toddler age group. You know, I know that many schools have thought we'll be talking about teaching our toddlers colours and how many words they know, and starting on maths or all these other crazy things. But really, honestly, the real work of toddlers is helping them into this developmental stage of toilet learning with no shame, with lots of encouragement, and with no drama. Literally helping them move into this stage as a natural part of becoming, of being a human being, and becoming a preschooler, moving into that next stage of development. There is nothing more important in the toddler age than supporting them in this developmental stage of toilet learning. Circling back to what I said about body awareness and autonomy, toilet learning. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, everyone who's joining. Toilet learning is really, really important, because it sends them messages. It gives them messages about how they feel about their bodies. You know, if we get annoyed when there's a miss, if we use words like dirty, or dirty for making a mess, or dirty for, hi David, when they have a miss, then that has a massive impact on their body, how they feel about their body. And also toilet learning and how they feel about their bodies in this stage is going to have an impact on their intimate life and what they feel in terms of shame when they're older, when they're grown up. And I know that seems like a really intense and hectic thing to be thinking about when we're talking about a toddler and toilet learning, but this is a really crucial period. You can look at the work of Erik Erikson, and he divided all of human life into different stages, and there's a conflict in each stage of what the lesson there is to be learnt. And in this toddler stage, it's all about shame and about guilt. Autonomy versus shame and guilt is what it is. And it's all linked in to this toilet learning experience. And if we can support this process, and it really is a process, it's not an outcome, this process with lots of love and lots of respect for the child's body, then we can really, really give them this foundation of strong, confidence in their body, confidence in their autonomy, in their ability to control their bodies, and also a really positive body image. That's what I was trying to say. Body image, positive body image, positive image about feelings about this completely natural and normal process of elimination. So it's a really, really crucial stage. I can't emphasize that enough. And that's not to scare you, but just to say that this is a process that our children need support. It's definitely, we don't want it to be a battle of wills. We don't want it to turn into power struggles. It's something normal and natural, and it doesn't need to be with any drama. What I really find when I speak to parents about toilet learning, and actually just kind of generally hearing people talk about it, in Western society, it kind of this one of two camps. One is that it's training, and we want to get it done in a way that there's no misses, and it's sort of like perfect, and we're striving for this ultimate goal, which obviously is unattainable. So we want it to be all kind of nicely packaged and done and dusted in a couple of days, and then there's no more misses, or accidents as people call them. There's no more misses, and it's all done tidy away, move from disposables to underwear, and that's it, halas, finished. So there's that area of control, which is quite dominant in Western society. And the other side of it as well is it's something to be feared. It's, the dreaded potty training and all of this kind of very negative language around it, which of course our children are going to pick up. If we have this negative feeling about it and this energy that's really heavy about it, and then it's a chore, that of course our children are going to pick up on that as well. So I promise you, there's nothing to be feared. It's all about the preparation. So make sure you've got lots of changes of clothes. It's all about the preparation, emotionally and physically for us. There's nothing to be scared of, and there's nothing to control. Remember, our role is submission, really giving in to this process and honouring our child's journey in that. Excuse me while I take a sip of water. And I'll just check my notes that I haven't missed anything. And to emphasize what I was saying about how many, how many key skills. Asil's just said a really good message. So Asil, your Asil's question says, should we wait for signs of readiness? Now, there's two answers to this question that I'm going to offer you, Asil. So there's one thing I would say from when a child is, it definitely shouldn't be learnt by a certain age. Asil's second question is, should it be learnt by a certain age? I can tell you two things. One, the sensitive period for this is 12 to 18 months. That's the sensitivity for it. And when we go beyond that window, we can get resistance in there because the child is getting into this period of autonomy versus shame and guilt. If you're beyond that window, don't stress about it. If you can catch it before, during this period, 12 to 18 months, great. But if you can't, don't stress. So that's one thing, Asil. It's not that you should wait for a certain age. The second thing to consider is that you can offer opportunities for eliminating on the toilet from as soon as a baby is sitting by themselves, independent, could hold their body up. And that doesn't mean that you're potty training or learning them. It means you're offering opportunities. So think of the natural times that you would eliminate. Like you wake up in the morning and everyone needs to go. Everyone needs to go at, when you wake up in the morning or when they wake up from a nap, mostly when we come back home and we get out of the car, mostly, we need to eliminate. And the same is true for a baby, for a child, for an adult. So you could offer those opportunities, and it literally is an opportunity. It's not anything more than we're all going to the bathroom when we get back in the house, for example, like that. The main thing is just making sure that you've got a completely chill and relaxed attitude to it. I'm not saying you should take her out of nappies. I'm not saying anything else. It's just providing opportunities. It's no training. It's so that they get used to the feeling of sitting on the loo. It's so they get used to the feeling of maybe one day wee will come out. Maybe one day poo will come out. You know, it's just getting them to have that sensation, because eliminating into a potty or eliminating into the toilet is a very different feeling to eliminating into a nappy. So we want to be able to give them that experience of that feeling from as early age as possible, so it's normal, so it's natural to them. So you are 25 months, okay, so she is 25 months. So what you can do is just offer opportunities, as I've just said, and then what you can do, hi everyone who's joining, and then what you can do is you can make sure that you are always changing her standing up. That's really, really important, so she's got a bit of autonomy. Oh, and someone's just had a really, really good question. So the main thing, Asil, offer opportunities and only have her in pull-ups. So she is starting to pull up and pull down herself as much as possible. At 25 months, she's going to be more or less able to, with a little bit of guidance from you guys, she's going to be able to pull up her pull-up and pull it down again. You want to offer opportunities for autonomy as much as possible, because then once she's got into the habit of pulling up and pulling down her nappy, then kind of the next stage of wanting autonomy and wanting to climb up to go to the loo and things like that kind of comes naturally. So think of those two things. I'm actually going to do a toilet learning workshop where we're going to go into detail all of the processes, so I'll cover that more and I'll tell you details about that at the end. But just for now, just give her opportunities and make sure she's in pull-ups. Those are the two bits of advice I can give you right now. Hi, dietitian Christelle. You've sent a question before, didn't you? You said, what to do when they are not willing to stop an activity to go to the toilet. Okay, Christelle, never interrupt them if they're in the middle of an activity, to go to the toilet, because concentration as a young child is more important than anything else. So if they are focused on an activity, obviously if it's purposeful, they're not, smashing something or crashing something. If they're involved in activity, if they're sitting reading, looking at a book, if they're doing a jigsaw puzzle, anything, if they're involved in activity, don't interrupt them, because concentration is developed in the early years. So her concentration, or his or her concentration, is more important than anything else. So, and then your second question was a really juicy, good one. I'm so glad you asked it. Thank you. Christelle said, 12 to 18 months is considered too early in other potty learning specialists, as the body is physically not ready. Why do you think this controversy exists? Okay, so I can tell you something that if you look at the 1960s, the 1970s, even the early 1980s, before disposable nappies were widely available, both physically available and economically available, 90%, I believe the statistic is 90% of children were bathroom independent by the age of 18 months. And children have not become less capable in that time. Now, I believe the average age for potty learning is about 3 years old. The only difference is disposable nappies. That is what the difference is. So before, if a child is in a cloth nappy, they can feel the sensation. That wet sensation is not very pleasant. So they would be more in touch with their bodies. In a disposable nappy, because obviously it pulls the moisture away, that's how they're meant to be designed, right? So that the child doesn't feel anything. So they're not used to the feeling of that elimination. They're not feeling that sensation of wet and dry. They're not feeling that discomfort that comes from wet underwear, wet trousers, wet leggings, whatever it might be, wet shorts. So this idea of readiness, of a child being ready at a magical time, 3.5, is a construct by the disposable nappy companies, where they actually decided, and if you speak to the principal of Monaco here in Dubai, she can tell you which board of directors, I can't remember what it was, but a board of one of the big nappy companies actually decided that they were going to have this idea of potty training, potty learning, toilet training readiness, and they would be able to sell more nappies. Remember, the longer we are told that our children need disposable nappies, the more money Pampers, Huggies, anyone, even the eco-friendly people are making, okay? And this was not the case 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Children are capable, they are aware of their bodies if we give them the opportunities. And I'll circle back to what I said before. It's all about offering them opportunities. Think about people, indigenous people, traditional communities where there are no disposable nappies. What do? Elimination communication. From birth, a baby will be offered opportunities to eliminate because the mother or the parent wearing them on their body will feel when they are ready to, when the child wants to eliminate or not. People who have no access to disposable nappies and have no access to running water to wash even a cloth nappy, for example, cannot wait for the child to be 3.5, or when someone in Western society, a Western doctor, has told them that their child is not ready to hold. If I think back to my training, my toddler and infant training, I believe that the bowel and the bladder has the capacity to hold for short periods of time from 9 months. And that is far, 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 far away from what we are told that, a child can hold, only able to hold at the age of 3 or whatever it is that we're told these days. So there's a couple of things to unpack. One, this idea of readiness is a construct by a big corporate who wants to make money from us. The second thing, that they cannot hold. No, that's not true. There is some level of holding available, even if it's for a few minutes, from when a child is still little, tiny, a baby, not even walking. And the sensitive period in terms of, and if we look at Dr. Montessori's philosophy of these sensitive periods, the sensitive period of body awareness is 12 to 18 months, when they start becoming really aware of when their body is eliminating and not. But we need to provide opportunities. If we're not able to provide opportunities, then it may be later for our child. And I'm not saying that's wrong or right, but the evidence is there that potty training, that toilet learning is so much later, and it's just because of disposable nappies. And our lives are different in Western society. They're a lot busier, they're a lot faster. We don't have the time, perhaps, to dedicate to toilet learning earlier that people had 30, 40, 50 years ago when lives weren't as busy. So there's lots of things going on here, but I want to assure you, hi Ruba, I want to assure you that your child will be ready as long as we provide opportunities, as long as we provide the opportunities in the environment and we're right in our heads about it, if you know what I mean. Hey, Christelle, thank you. Great explanation, thank you. Can you tell us more about night learning? Okay, so night learning is a completely different kettle of fish. Urination at night is completely different, or during nap time, sorry, let's just say sleep urination is completely different to daytime. In order for a child to be, their body to be able to wake them up to tell them their bladder is full, a hormone needs to be produced. For some children, that hormone is not produced till much later. So to give you an example, my son, aged 2, less than 2, was asked to remove nappies at night. He didn't wear any type of nappy. We did a combination of elimination communication from birth, some cloth nappies, some underwear when we were at home, and then disposable nappies at night. And before the age of 2, he was completely dry day and night. He asked to remove his nappies at night. Well, actually, no, he didn't ask to. He just removed them and then screamed because he didn't want to wear them. He has pretty much consistently been dry since the age, less than the age of 2. I know when he's getting sick because he'll wet the bed at night when he's getting sick. My daughter is 7 and she is not consistently dry every night, and it's just this hormone. For her, this hormone hasn't kicked in yet. For my son, it kicked in very, very early. Do not worry. My amazing pediatrician said that, I think the statistic is something like 20% of children still wet the bed regularly until the age of 8. And he was like, do not stress, she's where she's meant to be. If by the age of 8 she's more wet than dry, then yeah, let's have a look at it. But don't stress beforehand. And now it's so funny that, or maybe even be the age of 7, that 15 to 20%. But since she turned 7, just like in the past month or so, I've noticed her dryness is much more. She's maybe wet 1 or 2 nights of the week, where she's wetting the bed. So it's honestly, night learning is a completely different kettle of fish. Don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. Get them in contact with their body during the day. That's most important. Hi, Asil. Your question is, do we continue to keep nappies on at night or let them wet the bed? It depends. If they're happy to wear a nappy at night, then you can keep a nappy on at night. But if they don't want to, we can't force them to wear a nappy and let them wet the bed. And then again, that's a natural learning process. But it's all about the hormone. It's not whether it's wrong or right. If the hormone isn't developed yet, that lets their body know, lets their brain know, that signals the brain that the bladder is full, then I mean, I've seen you can get like training pants that send off an alarm or something at night. It's like, sounds to me like so barbaric. And I know that there's lots of potty training specialists and stuff who would disagree with me, and I know there's loads of different schools of thought. I completely appreciate that. But I do know that there is this hormone at night. It's completely different. Night urination is different, and don't stress about it. Offer opportunities during the day. Honestly, that's the best thing we can do. Just offer opportunities during the day. When we need to go to the loo, then invite our child to go to the loo as well. You know, it really is as simple as that. And just let it be really, really easy. Just be really mindful of the energy we're bringing to it, you know, and make sure you're prepared for spills. You know, when you go out and about, have you got clean clothes? Have you got a plastic bag to put wet things in? Is it easy to clean up at home? All of that stuff, you know, just let it be really, really easy. Anyway, sorry, I've talked for so long. You know, the workshop I actually did when I spoke to a parent this afternoon, I think it was almost an hour we spoke for. It sounds really bizarre to be passionate about this topic, but I really like kind of debunking myths, and I don't want it to be a stress for people, because it can be really made up into this drama. And also, no stickers, no rewards, no sweets, no chocolates, none of that bribery to go to the bathroom, because it's really, really weird to bribe a child or to reward a child for something that's natural. We just want this to be like a normal part. So circle back to the beginning. It's as natural as learning to crawl or walk. There will be times when they're walking, learning to crawl and walk, where they will fall over and bump their heads. They will trip over. They will stumble over something, you know. And this is the same with toilet learning. There's going to be days. There's going to be days where it goes really, really well, and there's going to be days where there's misses, and both are fine. It's a natural developmental stage. Anyway, thank you so much for joining and for all of your amazing questions. Let me tell you, I'm putting together this toilet learning workshop. I'm thinking maybe I'll do it during spring break, actually. I'll do a couple of sessions during spring break. It's going to be an hour and a half. We're going to have loads of time for question and answers. Yes, Aya, thanks so much for your comment. Yes, I will save this live. And Asil, your question. Sorry, one more thing. Is it a good idea to keep the nappy off at home when they're toilet learning? Yeah, keep the nappy off as much as possible during toilet learning, because we want them to feel what it is like to feel wet. We want them to see and feel wee running down their legs, because then they know that there's something not quite right, hey? And that's why it's a miss. It's like, oh, you missed the toilet. Let's go there now. And you can put some clean undies on. Super free and easy. I will put on my feed when we do the toilet learning workshop for spring break. And what I'll do in the toilet learning workshop is we'll go through step by step how you do that process, how you go from nappies to no nappies. What is the emotional preparation you need to think of? What are the physical preparation? What do you need in your home? How do you need to set it up? The importance of autonomy, the importance of the child doing everything. So I'm going to cover all of that, but I'll let you know on my feed when that is coming up. Thank you so much for joining, all of you. I will put this on all of the platforms. This will be on IG Live. This will be on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Thanks so much for joining me. I love you all, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.